I'm gonna go over a video. I'm gonna have to hit the volume and the landscape will switch. So hopefully it doesn't shrink on the screen and it does it right. Camera, visual verification. Oh god, that's horrible. There we go. I got this little bit. It always curls up when it every time. Oh, my nipple's right there. Pineapple Express, motherfucker. So, alright, you got that. You got my location, you know where I'm at. Alright, so there's one that's globally blocked. Hold on, that is not it. Oh, it was a while ago. Or is it? Did they fix it? Global. Yeah, no, copyright number one, silent. Alright, so I gotta do, max that out. Alright. Well, actually, I can be up in the top corner and you can check my eye movement. No, it won't. Well, yeah, well, alright, thank goodness. Alright, so we're there. I'll move that down. Alright, so, what I'm talking about I don't talk in this video. I was writing it out and then the background picked up and then got me a copyright strike. The sound of silence. All right. So that internal thought process, that radiating frequency that you bring out, don't think about each moment. Think about one frequency you want to be on, someone you want to talk to. It's the easiest way to, and this may not correlate to what I'm writing down. So we're having two different conversations at once. But so you want to have a conversation with someone. You focus on one single frequency. Now, literally speaking, you can't prove any of this. So what I'm going to try to do it in the most logical sense. So you then access your memories, and those memories have frequencies. So just like you talk to yourself, or MIT actually came out with something back in, I think, 2007, where you put this device right here. It's a little piece of tape. It's a sensor. And they found that the words you think about, your muscles actually twitch. So with programming, it was able to read your mind technically. So you didn't have to say anything. You just had to think it and your muscles would twitch. It's a very micro thing. So here, I'll move that down. That's what I'm listening to as I'm doing this. So I didn't know what was on in the background. So with sound, you speak. It radiates out in the world. And as it progresses, and this is what we're taught, and I can't verify this, it keeps getting wider and wider and wider and wider. So technically with the large antenna, that has, because if you've ever lived out in the boonies and have bad reception, you have to get a larger antenna because it catches the frequencies keep spreading out. So you need a larger antenna to catch that and re-put it back together into something that you can view or understand. So what I'm trying to explain here is really simple. Is like if a higher power or a larger entity is speaking to you and from somewhere else, you're talking channeling or whatever you want to call it, a different reality, what have you, something outside of your understanding. I simply put it as a planet. So they could be speaking, and they could be a huge, because we talk about giants for a little bit when you start going down the conspiracy hole, and then you get the big boisterous thing. Now maybe the way they talk is at a higher frequency, so that's on the left side there, the smaller radiating thing. So by the time it hits you, it is normal. So what your brain does is that, well, this is just hypothetical. With those smaller frequencies, you imagine them right there in front of you. and then you're able to interact. So, but if that's all you knew of them, then you don't know their other self. So that's kind of hard. So, God, I wish I could draw it out. So, that is your perceived reality. Now, you can go throughout your life with this perceived persona of oneself, which they say nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. Totally understand that. And then sound is slower than light. So, add those miles onto there. So, how does that interact instantaneously without a delay? Well, once you get the engine going, you you match up, you sync up, and then the conversation is instantaneous. I'm lacking words to explain it, but let's go ahead and just say at point A, there's so many variables to break down in there, and so I'm not even going to talk about it. The one thing you could talk about is size of the frequency, size of the light, size of the speed, what have you. I'm just talking about memory at this point, so let's go ahead and bridge and back up to the beginning of the conversation. Memory. So you tap into your memory of a past person, someone, either a traumatic event or someone that has impressed upon you life lessons that you look upon for help in times of need. Now, there's two different ways of doing it. There's guidance, which is pure, and then there's a need, which is not. That is unhealthy. It's okay to need someone. It's not okay to start thinking in a negative manner towards, well, all I have to do is make it to step 12. I'll have a phone and I can call them and they can bail me out. Not okay. There's more problems. If that's your thought process, then I'm looking at the table and moving my hands. If you make it to that point and that's your go-to, then you're not self-sufficient. There's inequality, though, like throughout time with working with someone, you have points of reference that you can call upon, like because there's a give and take in communication with family, and that's what I tend to work with. Family tells each other where they're going to be. So that way, in case communication is cut off, lost, emergency happens, they can call. They make it the 12 steps, and it's not a call, come help me. It's this is where I'm at. What is it? And then you do an assessment of the situation and you catch everyone up. That's different than calling them up and saying, hey, can I sleep at your place on the couch? I'm having a rough time. That always is an exponential cycle that pushes to negativity. So unless if you're paying cash or some sort of benefit at that point, I would say cash. That's true value in our current understanding of fiat currency. So, oh God, I just went through an emotional shitstorm in my head. So, with the past prior videos, there is an understanding that there's my card playing. Then I spoke with someone for about a half hour. Then I watched this video. Then I did a commentary on that video. I didn't even make it all the way through. And then I went back and finished the video and then noticed that my card directly correlated to an item I didn't even recognize when I was watching it the first time. I just breezed over it. So, but then I rewatched my card video and then realized like I was hammering home that conversation. So, in this other gentleman's video, it's called Decode Your Reality. So now technically his video came out 1 hour before mine did. And you can get the epoch time at Matt. I think it's W.io YouTube metadata. You simply copy the link and then paste it into that. And then you get the time on that, and that's general GMT, or they put a Z at the end. And then you type that into epoch time, and then you can get a second stamp of epoch. And then that'll give you your local time and stuff. That site's really good. Epoch time converter. So you can get the numbers on there. But anyways, what someone's going to say immediately if they've had any schooling is one has nothing to do with the other. There's no connective property. But when you watch the narrative side by side, I'm sorry, I got to work on cameras, side by side, and you list them out, just the facts, this is what happened in that video, this is what happened in that video. And then you tie them together, you look at the metadata, the defining characteristics that you see, your perceived perception. Those are the defining things that you look for. And then you see that the list is almost identical and one cannot be differentiated from the other. Yet, when you listen to it or you watch it, you know they're different videos, you know they're different conversations. So, consciousness, milk. Okay, this sometimes my brain clicks. Okay, so I reach a bridge point, and I can totally explain this. So in some of my conversations, some of my videos, it's like I'm talking normal, and then all of a sudden I branch off into like chaotic, crazy talk, and they're usually double talk. So they're implied innuendos, or they're implied innuendos. Now, the topic at hand may be sexual in nature, or trying to burn someone. But when you look back at my information, they are keys. So what happens is I'm having this chronological conversation, and my brain automatically snaps in and says, this is the key you need. Say this, boom. I say that, throws everyone off guard. They're all on board until they get that. So in the normal conversation, you're going to have you're gonna be along, but that break in the conversation is traumatic, and you're gonna remember it because you're just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe he said that, and then you're gonna remember that, and the whole point is that you remember these little things, and then you repeat them. You repeat them in your video until everyone understands what's going on. So, I forget what I did. Oh, that's AM. Armand. I don't remember what I was talking about in this video. G. B. Now, in the 2 videos ago, he did a G. D, which was gold. But, anyways. In that one, I think the counterclockwise should have been the other way. Like that arrow, I just did it for continuity, because that G is technically going the same way as the O. I should have done it the other way, clockwise and counterclockwise. So, what I do, I don't know. I may do that. Most of these are just generalized thought process jots. And then what I do is correlate a definable illustration that makes sense. So, and then I go into numbers, and people don't understand my numbers. I don't understand my numbers at times, but I have to rewatch it. So, 2, 6. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So 2 6 is literally saying go to the 6, and then the I. So, and then we know our definition of I. This is people keep saying arbitrary. It is a system. It's protocols and procedures that have built up over the years to explain the happenstance that you've been taught throughout your life. A lot of items when you go into public school, private school, college, or whatever, university, whatever you want to call it, you you get told that it's arbitrary. It's just made up, but this is how it works. And then you're like, nah. Like if you go on the video before this, I wrote down 1 clock trying to figure out this the unlock key to this, and then I said 7, 8, 9 because that's what we were taught. That's a key. We were taught that in preliminary school. And then someone's like, well, that's not a key. We all know that. It's a joke. I'm like, yeah. The only way, there's 2 ways to transmit information beyond time. You got to get them to remember it. 1, you've got to make it funny, or 2, you got to make it traumatic or painful. So, and then you can transmit information across vast distances of time, perceived time that is linear. So, what we'll never explain is the system of correlating between past and present because of viewpoints. All right, the observer. So, system of communication. All right. Telephone. Oh, that's what we were taught. We were taught that as kids as well. The cup and the line in between transmit sound. If you want to talk about other technology, that's basically the same technology. That idea between cup and cup with the line in between is the same technology as a record player does. Now, technically, that's the same technology as a CD does. And then the thought process is how does RAM sticks work? Because what they do is little blocks. You can use the ceiling blocks. So that's 1, 0, 1, which is technically what happens on the record player. You have one single line with grooves on either side. Now, those grooves seem chaotic. They're not as organized as the 101. So, but it's the same technology. It accesses blocks of information. So those 4 items, it grabs it, and that is then a groove in the record, a little dip. And that dip has that number block on it. And then it moves it out into RAM, and then it goes back into the processor and adds different ones. So it's constantly. So think of the processor as your needle. And then you got your RAM and then your hard drive. The RAM is a temporary. It's called random access memory, but it's not really random. It's a temporary store point. So think of God. What is that? You can't do that because everything's digital. So 2 different file cabinets. You've got your long-term storage, and then you got your immediate one. So let's say your clientele that you've stored years prior, you have that on your hard drive. Now, then you have solid-state hard drive, which is technically, okay, hard drive, not solid-state. Hard drive is basically a record. It's just multiple layers of records, okay? But it's not plastic. It's a different technology, and it's just spinning around in circles very fast. So there's a lot of information, and then it just puts the needle down when it needs it, and then puts it out. So you have your architecture. You got this original file of where everything's written, and then you just go to that point. So this radius of that, and then you drop the needle. You get the file, and you put it in RAM. Okay, RAM is these squares up here, just like the processor. So there's a transcode between a needle to a a flip clock. So you got black and white. So, and then that. So that what they did is just made a RAM stick into a hard drive, and then it's just flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. So you're constantly flipping dials. All right. And then the next one is quantum computing, which is so fucking stupid how they explain it. All quantum computing is you have two computers, one here, one here. All right. It's the cat in the box thing. So they both run the exact same. They both run simultaneously. All right. And they talk to each other. That's it. That's it. So one has a hard drive, another one has a hard drive. One is on, one is off. When the communication happens, that is when they determine which one is in the hierarchy. And all they're doing is listing things from highest priority to lowest. That's all they're doing. The problem is instead of just two computers, you've got all these computers, all these cell phones, all these computers. So then you've got this massive brick layer. So remember the ceiling, it picks up all this stuff and then determines whether that's going to be an on or off or both. If it's both, it gets passed on to the next second or the next measurable instance. It's not hard. So on that point, computers are only teaching you how to use your body, or at least tech specialists are trying to teach you how to use this untapped, I call it a predictive model or pattern recognition, because you're accessing your memory to make attempts to recreate that individual or event in your mind to step forward with that vibration that you had prior. Problem is, when you do that, you access that memory, you alter it because you're adding in the current moment. So then what happens is, and I've had this problem with my relationships in the past, is that I keep accessing the good moments, and they're like, I can't be that person that's in your head. And I'm like, you don't need to be. You're my driving force. This is where I got you. I got you on a high pedestal. But I just need you to keep adding new events. So that way, because then there's too much of me in those events. I've destroyed those past moments. I know that. I know I'm not seeing clearly. I'm seeing through my perceived reality. I've put my persuasion on it way too much and completely altered it. And that's called a lie. Now, even if it's you're lying for a good story or a good positive outcome, it's still, you've changed the way, and then people can't trust you because you're lying. You look at them in a very good positive way and they're like, I can't do that. And I'm like, I'm not asking you to. That's how I get forward. Sorry. But you can do that. So when you look back on some of my stories, I've had both extremely good and extremely bad experiences. I've managed to have all my my mental fallacies were taken away for a little bit, but I gained them back through nootropics. Not the prescribed kind, the actual stuff you can get on Amazon, or pharmaceutical sites that are free. They're not illegal. They're free from being arrested, is what I'm trying to say. They're quite expensive, and that's why I wanted to develop a drink company so other people can unlock their potential, and then boom, 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 boom. I'm having an awesome fucking conversation. We're talking psychically over line. We don't have to talk to each other. So, that's another thing. Like, I tell people, and they don't get it. I'm like, I will call you. If I call you in the future, like, I think we're done with this relationship at this point. There's no growth. I have to go this route. You have to go that route. But when I call you, it's an emergency. And if I call 3 times, I'm going to die. It's that type of emergency. I never use those because I don't want anyone to have that thought about me. But That's my emergency case situation. Now, I've implanted that in a lot of people, and they don't understand. They thought I was just joking. But at the same time, when they start reviewing these, they're like, oh my goodness, he's been saying the same shit these so many years, and he keeps using it over and over again. Like my first one, like memory. So I'm in this car, 17, 16, 17? And with my high school friend, Ben, and he's like, you got to remember this. We have to remember to tell him this because it was a work related thing. We're going to go hang out with work friends. And we just need to tell him that remember this tomorrow. Otherwise, it's going to fuck the entire day and then people are going to get fired. So, all I did, he said, remember it. I immediately just I wasn't sure. It was probably my finger. So I just go like this. I'm like, I'm going to be like this. I just ran my finger up there. I'm like, I'll remember it. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I did. There was so many of those, what the fuck you doing? You got to stop that. I'm like, no. I don't think you understand what I'm doing. So then he asked, and I'm like, all I need to do is keep this finger next to my head, and I'll never forget, because I'll be like, what the fuck is my finger there for? I was told to remember something. Boom, boom, boom. Well, you don't need the finger after a while, but oh, what else? There was other stuff. There was car talk, which amped out into different things that can be used laterally. Basically, what car talk is you're with a close friend. Okay, so you're going to a party or you're going to an event, and then basically you do that. It's like going into a business meeting right beforehand. You're like, what do I need to know about these individuals? What is our goal? It's the high points. It's like this. But with car talk, you have these conversations in the meeting. When everyone's talking in the room, you have that quick convo, and then like, what'd you say? And the room gets quiet, and you're like, I was just talking about cars, and you just start going into car facts. You're like, my Mazda, blah 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 blah, or my Honda Civic, blah 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 blah. We're getting a muffler. I'm not sure about the windshield, and they're like, I thought you said, and I'm like, are you hearing things? And then the other person plays in, and they just go back into the car conversation. But the whole believable fact is that emotional ping, okay, being able to transition from one conversation to the other without having that spike, that adrenaline spike. So that the only way I found getting rid of that adrenaline spike is by having extreme events, which is why a lot of in my personal belief, a lot of rich people, a lot of famous people that deal with a lot of money, with transactions flow, they always do the adrenaline junkie type deal. Or at least they hire someone to do that. So that way they can learn from them. They attach a camera on it. They still get the same event, but anyways, I decided to do my own stuff. So software, hardware, information technology. Oh, there's this other one. So there's a 15-minute video. I think it was in the fall of last year, or the winter. I think it was on the 15th. I was at McDonald's. But anyways, no, I was at Walmart. And then I uploaded it at McDonald's. But this girl, I was in, hold on. I'll try to make this quick. I forget her name. But she's like, there's Sweet Caroline. She kept singing this at this acute care center. And then this person that was off for the weekend didn't hear her sing that. Or maybe she heard her singing. I don't know. But we're in therapy, and then we just had this big old hiccup. We had to have someone escorted out of the room. And I'm like, you got to play a song, get us out of that mood. And then she goes through her 700 songs. She's like, okay. She starts playing, and everyone just chimes in. They thought it was annoying until that therapist actually played it, which was fucking hilarious. She's like, did you know? No, I didn't know. I just felt it was right. Sweet Caroline. Bop, bop, bop. All right. I forgot where I was going with it. Oh, anyways, her dad worked for worked for Tyson for a chicken factory, and I think that was her dad or her grandpa. I don't know. And then one of them had their own trucking company. But his favorite thing in retirement when she was helping him out was hush, 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 hush. That basically, she explained, he was all about you lean, you clean, and leaning also means like you're leaning the conversation a certain way. I'm like, that is fucking. It's that broom, the big old the thing. So, anyways, two different conversations going on. So I will go ahead and cancel out of that so we don't get any strikes there. Hopefully the audio didn't play, but or my voice overpowered it. So all right. It's the stork. Amazon stork. It is so real. All right. I gotta find the. There it is. Woo.